You got to sit down. The cameras can't see me. That's important. All right, all the news folks, media, everybody's good? All right. We really got to make sure they in good shape. Well, look, good morning. I mean, what an unbelievable crowd. This is great. Of course, you know, we've got the First Lady here. She said if you give her about 3 months, she's ready to throw another party. Of course, it's great to be here at Nicholls State. I certainly want to thank Dr. Clune and his wife, I believe, are here as well. Thank you so much. Rick Gallows here representing the UL system. You know, today we're going to make 4 announcements. And what I appreciate the most is being here on the coast to make these announcements. There is probably no 2 parishes that have been more a part of my political life than Lafourche and Terrebonne, other than St. Martin. In fact, when I ran for Congress and I came down here, I told people there's not a whole lot of difference between St. Martin Parish and Lafourche Parish. I mean, we grow sugarcane in St. Martin. Y'all do it here. We put people on oil rigs. Y'all carry us to the oil rigs. That's what I'd say. We catch crawfish and y'all do the shrimp, right? But I really do. We have loved coming here. And so today we're going to announce these 4 things. We're going to announce a new chairman of the Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority, CIPRA, which is so important to everyone who is in this room and on the coast. We're going to also announce the new executive director of CIPRA, the chairman of the Governor's Advisory Commission on Coastal Protection, and then we're going to also announce the new Commissioner of Conservation. And so I thought it was befitting that we would be here at Nicholls to make these important announcements, because these people are going to be an integral part of both protecting our industries that are vital to this area and our coast, which is vital to our way of life here. And I also tell you, you know, while Rick is here, that one of the things that we heard when we went around the state was how we need to improve our economic opportunities, how we need to find ways for Louisiana to be attractive, to bring people into this state rather than allowing people, some of our best and brightest, to leave this state. And to do so, we have to concentrate on the business and industries that I believe grew this state. And I believe that universities like Nicholls and some of the other universities that dot Louisiana's landscape can play a pivotal role in doing that. When these universities concentrate on the things that are important economically to the region, then it's a win-win for both the university and the people of Louisiana. I'm excited because I know Nicholls has started a maritime program. I believe that the best mariners in the world are not up in Maine, they're here in Louisiana. And I would love to see at some point a first-class maritime program here at Nicholls State University. And so to get on with the appointment, the first appointment, I'd like to bring up Houma native Gordy Dove. Now, many of y'all, I don't think anyone in this room doesn't know Gordy. And of course, you know he has firsthand knowledge of what this coast needs. I've watched Gordy when he was in the legislature. He was unbelievable in making sure that the Terrebonne area and his district had the protection and that the projects that were implemented in Terrebonne were necessary to protect his area. And of course, as you know, Gordy's one of those folks, he really doesn't need a job because he's run such great businesses. And Gordy would tell you that if you want to be successful in business, you have to find the right people, you have to get a good plan, and then you got to get out of the way. And as I was talking to him about CIPRA, he said, you know, I really believe that the organization needs some restructuring. And he said, I would be willing to serve on as the chairman only under the condition that we restructure the way the board particularly operates. And this is important for y'all to understand. The CIPRA board right now consists of 21 people, okay? And 8 of whom represent the coastal basin drainage, the coastal drainage basins in the state from east to west. 7 of them are secretaries and part of the governor's cabinet. 2 are from the legislature and 3 are other statewide elected officials. I believe it's unmanageable. And the chairman is also a state employee, which kind of conflicts with the executive director. This board is so important to the coast that it should be managing the agency, not running the agency on a day-to-day basis. And so one of the reasons I selected Gordy was because me and him shared that vision that what we want to do is make the board more of a functioning, managing board that oversees the projects that are necessary to protect our coast. Because what has happened is that it's grown so big that we're designing more things, we're in more litigation, and none of that is protecting us. And so his instructions from me, and really from y'all, are to go out and to start implementing these projects. We want to see rock. We want to see concrete. We want to see levees. We want to see things that protect our coast, that build our coast, and ensure that the communities here can survive. And so that's why I've selected him. And then, of course, there is a governor's advisory committee that works with CIPRA. And so we appointed Gordy's sidekick, Tony Alfred. Now, I want y'all to know, I want the public to know and everyone to hold it. I told them if they got these 2 positions, that Terrebonne had to get the projects last, okay? And not to forget the folks over in Cameron, in Lake Charles, and on the west. Seriously, we want a very robust coastal management program being implemented because we have spent a lot of money, a lot of treasure, and a lot of time on a coastal master plan. But Tony is going to be the chairman of the Governor's Advisory Commission. And as many of you know already, he has played a critical role in protecting our coast. He has served over 20 years on the Terrebonne Levee and Conservation District. And I can tell you, there are no 2 parishes really that have done more and are more of a model for other parishes along the coast than both Lafourche and Terrebonne. In a way that y'all have taken the ball in the early 90s, recognized the dangers that were coming, were able to see over the horizon, and then started implementing a plan, even when the state and the federal government would not give you money. You went out there, you taxed yourselves, you ran your projects, you built your levees. And I cannot thank the people of both Terrebonne and Lafourche for what they are showing the rest of the state. And that is why these 2 gentlemen are going to help us protect our coast. Then there's a third person that is an integral part of making sure that the projects get completed and that it's managed properly. And of course, I told Gordy, we want projects done on time and under budget, right? So we can do more projects. And so in helping him, I'd like to bring up Glenn Leday Jr., who will be the executive director of CIPRA. Glenn is currently the vice president and leader of the water resources and coastal market sector of Neo Schaefer, Inc., where he had to tender his resignation, right, Glenn, today. But he has almost 2 decades of coastal engineering experience, including key leadership roles at the Louisiana Coastal Protection and Restoration Authority as well. I think he worked for CIPRA for 10 years. And so with the experience in engineering, in project management, in business development, I believe that he has the ability to focus CIPRA in working with the new board in making sure that the projects, again, start and they're finished and they go on the budget. Y'all like that, huh? All right. Okay. And then finally, I would like to invite Ben Bienvenu and Tyler Gray to come up. Now, quickly, Tyler is our Secretary of Department of Natural Resources that we announced a couple of weeks ago. I will tell you that these two men are probably some of the smartest people that I know, literally. They are some of the best intellectual thinkers in this area that I know. And both of them have vast experience. But we are appointing today Ben Bienvenu to join the administration as the new Commissioner of Conservation. Ben earned his bachelor's degree in petroleum engineering, and he received an MBA in finance from LSU, as well as holding a professional engineering license. Ben has spearheaded new ventures on onshore shale exploration, designed and developed various economic and engineering aspects of deepwater drilling, both domestic and foreign. He's been a regional asset manager for coastal development and abandonment and cleanup projects, and touched on downstream domestic and international gasoline retail, pipeline, LNG, gas storage projects and facilities. I'm telling you, he is one of the smartest, most experienced people I know, and we are absolutely lucky to have him. Because a person of both of these calibers are extremely hard to find to work in state government. We don't exactly pay the best. And ours are pretty grueling. But they have stepped outside of the private sector because they believe in Louisiana. And they believe in our oil and gas sector. They believe in domestic energy. They believe that it is the oil and gas sector that has lifted more people out of poverty globally than any other industry in the world. It is that industry that has built a stronger, better middle class globally and domestically than anyone else. And they are committed to making sure that Louisiana, over the next 4 years, has one of the most robust oil and gas, both exploration, midstream, and refining operations in the country. You know, and why is that important? I'll tell you. Because over 8 years ago, Louisiana used to be home to 23% of the refining capacity in the country. Today, it's down to 21%. 2% of that refining capacity has left Louisiana for another state. Anybody want to guess where it went? Texas, right? That's right. Yeah. See, the little fella knows. Okay. You really don't have to be an adult to understand. We're putting you on next. We want that capacity back here in Louisiana. Because when we start to increase our refining capacity here, it means that we have good jobs coming back to Louisiana. Good middle-class jobs. Good jobs that bring great benefits and that build our economy. And so I really believe that this group of men that we appoint today will have one of the most significant impacts, not only on this coast, but on our state as well. And so I cannot tell you how much I appreciate this unbelievable large crowd. I know there are a whole bunch of elected officials in here, and I know there's some legislators, Joe Barrow. I know there's one of the senators. Oh, there you go. Y'all heard what I said about CIPRA, right? It's your job to help us make sure that we protect this coast for these people. And I can tell you, you've got an unbelievable legislative delegation. I'm completely confident in that as well. So I want to thank y'all for giving me and the First Lady and these new appointees such a warm welcome here at Nicholls. And we look forward to getting started because we have a lot to do. And so with that, I will open it up to any questions that the media may have. Yes, ma'am. Look, I think that change is always the biggest obstacle, right? Because no one likes change, okay? And then when you do change something for the better, they forget that they even had it before. And so I think that as we move through the bureaucracy, okay, as we work to streamline these agencies so that they work for people, then that's probably, I would say, the biggest challenge that we face today. You were hiding over there. You normally up front. I said, you normally up front. You were hiding. I didn't see you back there. Yeah. They put you, I know. This is where they put me too, so it's okay.
Can you tell me when that will happen and how many troopers that will entail?
Yeah, look, I will tell you that that will happen. And it's not happening fast enough. But, you know, as we talked about bureaucracy, and I had a federal judge that caused us all to have to go to Baton Rouge, we're going to have a crime session right after Mardi Gras. And part of that crime session is going to help us put in place the funding mechanism to get that troop up and running. Here's what I will say. I really never like to give my battle plan, you know, because criminals are pretty smart folks as well. What I will tell you is that we are going to work with the legislature so that they understand that having a permanent troop in New Orleans is the only way that I see to keep the city safe over the next decade. I mean, the New Orleans Police Department is in shambles because of a federal consent decree and a federal judge. We have to wrestle that away from them. And even if she gave it to us today, it would take a decade to build that police department back up. And so in the meantime, we are going to reconstitute that troop. That troop is not going to be just centered in the French Quarter. This is very important. We're not here just to protect the French Quarter, okay? We're here to protect the city and one of the greatest assets that this state has. And so, believe you me, as soon as we're going to start putting some boots on the ground, we'll make sure that Kate calls you right away and you get that press release.
If I might follow up, so it sounds like the troop may not be deployed until after the regular legislative session.
I don't know. I'm waiting on the plan from the superintendent and his executive staff. I think we get briefed next week. Again, we want to make sure that the funding is in place. Look, for me, it's way more important that we aim before we fire. Okay, we've got a real problem in the state historically of firing and then aiming. And for those of you who are hunters, know that that doesn't work too well. You probably starve. And so we're working methodically through the process. And as soon, believe you me, I would have loved to have had them on the ground today, but they are coming. But when they come, they're going to be ready to assist the citizens of that city and make sure that it's safe. Now that's 3 questions. Did you get 3?
You brought up the crime session. When do you expect to call that? And then finally, can you comment on reports that you will ask lawmakers to expand methods for executing people on death row to include maybe gas, hangings, and firing?
Now that's 4 questions, but I'll give them to you. Okay, the first is the special session. The date that we're going to start is still, I think, has been out there. Y'all put it out back in early January. I think it's February 19th. We have not issued the call yet. I'm meeting with the legislative leadership actually today. Information is going out to them. We've been speaking to bill authors and to other legislators as well. And so as soon as we get that put together, we'll put it out to y'all. I know y'all are anxious to have it, but I mean, look, we got a lot between now and Mardi Gras. We got a lot to write about. Don't worry about that. In regards to the death penalty, look, that is a serious and sobering issue. There are a lot of families that live a nightmare each and every day, over the tragic and senseless violence that has occurred to their loved ones. They have gone through trials. They have gone through appellate process. See one of our great judges here, Ms. Terry, he'll tell you. Judges, appellate processes, the Supreme Court, the state. And when juries convict someone of a capital punishment, they then go out and the jury goes back and says, okay, you're guilty of the capital punishment, and now we're going to sentence you to death. So it's twice those people go before a jury of 12 unanimously. That creates a contract between the victims and the state of Louisiana, because that is their justice. That is what our law says is available. That is what the jury says the criminal should receive. When we fail to abide by our promises and our contractual obligations to victims out there, how can we go around and say that we have any credibility on anything else that we do? States around us are finding ways and methods in order to execute those that have been tried and convicted and sentenced to death. I have committed myself to those families because I've sat in front of those families. I've listened to those families from all over the state. They deserve their day of justice. And that is what that jury has granted them. And I, and this legislature, and I hope the legislature agrees with me, are going to fulfill our commitments, just like we're here today to appoint people who are going to fulfill their commitment to our coast. See, we have problems. These people, all of these people around us here today, live in danger each and every day, well, certainly during hurricane season, okay? And there's a commitment, there's a coastal master plan that's committed to them that says that we're going to rebuild our coast and create hurricane protection for these communities. That's a commitment that we intend to follow up as well. And so just like the commitment we make it to the coast, we make a commitment to the victims of this state as well. Thank you for your question. No more follow-up. That's okay. You got 4. Yep.
With these changes that you're making, do you have a timeline or maybe an estimate of how much time could be saved to get these projects underway?
You know, I'm going to leave that up to these smart people, okay? Because like Gordy told me earlier, you know, you find good people and you get a good plan and you get out the way. And so I intend to get out the way and let them come to me with a timeline. But believe you me, one of the reasons that I selected Gordy is I've never seen someone so committed to building things in his area than him. I mean, the things that he's done down there are just amazing. The things that y'all have done down here are amazing. So what we're doing is we're going to now, instead of Gordy just being in this little area and working real, we're now going to make him work that relentlessly across the coast with Glenn. All right. Thank y'all so much. Really do appreciate it. Thank you.